right, I'm going to call to order the Thursday, October 3rd, 2019 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. We do not have a quorum, but we don't have any action items we need to take care of, so we can just go through our agenda and do our discussion items. Oh, and now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, now we're ready for roll call.
Okay, roll call. Commissioner Comerford is absent, and Raquel Duenas is absent, our youth representative. Commissioner Firestone?
Present.
Commissioner Entner?
Here.
Commissioner Jacobson?
Present.
Commissioner Patrick Murphy is absent, and Commissioner Susie Taylor is absent.
Okay, I do not have any public comment cards, but if anyone with the public would like to comment. Okay, hearing no takers, we'll move on. We don't have any presentations today, and we don't have anyone present tonight for the police department report or the public works report, but we do have minutes. So if everyone's taken a look at those, if there are any comments. Anybody want to make a motion?
I move to.
Oh, no, we can't, sorry.
Oh,
We're moving these forward to next time. You can review them, but we can't take any action, so move that to the next one. But thank you for reviewing them. So we just may make a note to bring it back. Okay. Discussion items, our joint meeting, which is next week, October 8th at 6 p.m., same place.
Perfect. So those are warming up. They'll be here in a second.
Okay.
So I did make all of the recommended changes from last meeting as I understood them. And then I also got a little bit more feedback from Ryan and Sage. So hopefully this should look pretty good, but I am open to any and all feedback. So we'll run through it a little bit more quickly. So this is our agenda for the night: recreation program updates, commission activities, capital improvement plan, and discussion items. I actually was not clear whether you wanted capital improvement plan to sit under discussion items or because it has a few slides, so if you're good with it in this order, otherwise let me know. Goodbye and hello, that's the same as it was. Recreation program updates, open house, Ojai Day. I'm clicking through, but if you want me to stop, just let me know. Aquatics, we did move this around a little bit. Ryan recommended to not highlight the things that we didn't do, but highlight the things that we do. So change that. So the last bullet is weekday public swim was not offered because Nordhoff Pool was unavailable. Summer camps, did not change anything on that slide. Movie nights is the same. Topa Topa is the same. Gymnastics the same, tennis. Most of the program updates are all the same. Okay, so this is where we did a lot of the changes. So you guys had requested to get rid of the charts and to put in some kind of bullet paragraphs. This is a lot of information, but this is kind of what Renee and I came up with. So I don't know if you want me to read through them. You guys can give feedback. So we have recreation program revenues resulted in an 11% increase over what was budgeted. Programs include camps, classes, and sports for all ages. Our five largest revenue producing programs were camps, gymnastics, wilderness, after school program, and youth basketball. Facility rental revenue saw an increase of 22% in fiscal year 19 compared to fiscal year 18. This includes rentals at Sarasota picnic areas, Sarasota sports field, Libby tennis courts, as well as miscellaneous indoor spaces. And then total department revenue increased by 3% fiscal year 19 compared to fiscal year 18, while total department expenses increased by 4%. The expense increase was largely due to increased staff costs as a result of minimum wage increases. This continues onto another page. With information on scholarships, the Recreation Department served approximately 150 participants through a scholarship program, which includes funds from various sources: city contributions, county contributions, Ojai Valley Tennis Club donations, Mountains to Beach Marathon donations, and miscellaneous other individual and organizational donations. I wasn't sure if you wanted the information about the actual, like where the sources are in there, but I put them in there so that it can easily be taken out if that seems like too much. Aquatics, the closure of Nordhoff swimming pool negatively impacted swim lessons and recreation swim revenues. Pool operations were modified this summer due to the inaccessibility of Nordhoff High School swimming pool. Only 50% of lessons were scheduled as compared to summer of 2018. Most lessons were filled to registration capacity. And then the other program that was really affected our revenue was after-school program. The closure of the Miners Oaks after-school program also had a negative impact on department revenues. Despite the closure of Miners Oaks locations, the Topa after-school program ended the year with revenues 6% over projections.
Okay, so before we move on from this,
Yes.
how do you guys feel if we move this all to the back as additional information for them to read? Because this is gonna kill the momentum if we read through all of this midway through our presentation.
Yeah.
So we could move it to the back, we give it to them in their packet, it's all there, and then, the bullet point could be 11% over what was budgeted, if even that, or maybe it all moves to the back.
Yeah, so I think all of this information could go to the back. I think if we do want to include a slide in the body of the presentation, it could just be a few bullets, but not the detail, but just kind of like, this was revenue last year, this is revenue this year, this was expenses last year, this is expenses this year, and why they've changed. Just a little bit of information.
Like a bullet point, a little highlight, like we had a 22% increase in facility rentals.
Yeah.
And that would be like,
Yeah, and see additional slides for more information.
Yeah, can we just maybe put an asterisk or something and use this as a reference point in the back? You know, just give the details that you want
additional
to give.
information in,
Right,
at the end
exactly.
of the
So if they want to
presentation.
find
Yes.
out exactly why, you know.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah. That's-
And then we can probably, in that case, we can probably squeeze it down and put it all on.
one page, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And then I think, too, they're gonna have a printed version. They're gonna have it all in front of them, so they can reference back to
Yeah.
that.
And then I think I think Allison, I sent you a note about this, but if we go back one slide, for the revenue, we're comparing it to what was budgeted. But then, for the recreation program revenue, but then for the
Right.
facility revenue, it's compared to fiscal year 18. I think it's
Right.
more useful if we just compare everything like fiscal year 19 to 18.
Right.
Instead of budgeted.
Because it's kind of misleading, like, if you read the first two bullets, and then you read the third bullet, and you're like, revenue increased by 3%. Like, well, why didn't it increase by
If you had
something
that
in between
11,
11 and
yeah.
22%?
Right.
You know, and it's,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
and I think that's, from the council's perspective, I can imagine that's what they're interested in is, what's the difference between revenue and expenses?
And what are some bullet points as to why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why it's changing.
So, okay.
changing.
So do you want to change that first slide to be 19 versus 18, or do you want it, or do you want to change the other ones to be versus budgeted? Like, what would you rather focus on?
I think it should be compared to 18,
Okay.
not what was budgeted.
So actuals.
Yeah.
And then if we're placing an asterisk, do you still want it pushed back to the last two slides?
Yes.
Yeah, somewhere in the, we have an additional slides section, right?
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere in the additional slides.
Yeah, so I'll make that more clear towards the end of the
Because this
initial
is
slides.
great information.
Yeah,
It's just-
I don't want to lose it. I just
Yeah.
think if we present it here this way, it's just, I mean, I can just pull out highlights from it
Right.
and try and do that, but I think it might be easier to put it in the back and then,
I think it'd be pretty distracting.
I do too. I think they'll be reading, unless
Yeah.
I'm reading. And
Yeah.
if I'm reading, I think that kind of slows everything down.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so just pull out some highlights, short bullets,
Yeah.
one page,
If even that, yeah, like half a
And-
page. Yeah.
and then the rest in the back with a little note. Okay.
I think that's good. Thank you.
Any notes on the specific information? Like I said, scholarships, do you want all those, do you like all those funding sources in there? Any
I think
like-
in the back, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's interesting. I think it's good for them to know where it's coming from.
Right.
I just think as far as just in the middle of the
Right.
presentation might not be the right place.
Yeah.
I like what you have, though.
Great. Perfect. Easy as that. Commission activities. I believe this slide is the same that you saw before. This slide, you asked me to add descriptions of each ad hoc committee. So we have facilities, address needs related to recreation facilities, Intner and Firestone. OUSD partnerships, explore potential new ways to partner with the school district to create more programs and activities for the community, Intner and Firestone. Pickleball, work to find short and long-term solution for pickleball community, Intner and Taylor, and then see information on slides 23 and 24. Swimming pool, explore options for a potential public swimming pool in the valley, Jacobson and Cumberford. Valleywide Parks District, discuss the possibility of creating a parks district in the valley, Intner and Taylor. And youth, assess the needs of high school students and plan activities to meet those needs, Duenas, Dorn, and Intner. See information on slide 19. That'll look okay.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, it's good.
I did restructure this slide based off of Ryan's recommendation. So co-chairs, Youth Commissioner Duenas, Youth Commissioner Alternate Dorn, began meeting June 2019. Meeting regularly to assess the needs of youth in the valley and plan events. And their goal is to run 3 events before the end of the calendar year.
That looks good.
Capital Improvement Plan. I did not change this slide at all. I believe I did add the information for Libby Park restroom remodel. The commission is providing input on the plans to remodel the restrooms at Libby Park. There are currently a few plans being considered by the Public Works Department. There are funds allocated for this project in fiscal year 1920 and fiscal year 2021. And then pickleball slides, I believe, are the same from what you guys saw last time, to the best of my recollection. And then CIP, so this one I did do quite a bit of editing on. You'll see that we did add in the additional columns. I believe that was at the recommendation of Greg Grant, to have for each fiscal year the 2 columns of the Fund 31 and the other funds.
Okay.
Just to make sure that that's clear. Oh, James, sorry. Open to any feedback on that slide. I think you guys had requested to highlight last fiscal year and this fiscal year, and then to kind of simplify it by just removing some of those other miscellaneous columns. So
I think that's good. And I like the colors.
perfect. All right. Works for me. And then discussion items. The only 2 discussion items, as far as I understood, were communication between council and commission and other items.
Yes.
And then at the end, and then the recreation manager goals. So then this is a kind of appendix, and then I'll add the revenue and expense as an appendix as well. So this, you guys had requested, or it was an idea that came up at the last meeting, to include recreation manager goals. So these are all from Renee, and she did work with James Vega on these. So that's been kind of vetted that way as well. I don't know if you guys like to read through those. I don't know if Renee, if you want to say anything about them, what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think this is nice to have. I think it'd be nice too, maybe at a future meeting, to have Renee maybe talk to us about the goals.
Present and discuss, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Sure.
But yeah, it's nice to have it in here.
So in the appendices now we'll have the revenue information and the recreation manager goals. And that's everything that'll be in there, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and can we call that section like additional
Information.
slides or
yeah.
information? So it's clear it's not stuff we want to discuss.
Right.
So when they're
Yeah.
looking through the slides, they know like where the discussion end point is.
They just won't even be
Right.
in there, in the slides. It'll just be in their packet.
I think it should be in the slides.
Oh,
I mean, I think,
because if we're going to show them, then they're open for discussion.
well, everything's over.
Well, no, I
I
just
mean,
mean in
you
the
could
sense
just
that-
end on this slide. On
Other
this
items?
slide.
Yeah.
Oh, Okay,
mean, I think my thinking is that the PowerPoint is like, it's
the
the
meeting.
record of, it's what we're giving
Right.
them, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so like, if we want to give them stuff, put it all in one document.
one document, but it doesn't have to be are you thinking we'll flip through them before we go on to our discussion, or they'll just
No,
be in the
it's-
packet?
It's literally one PowerPoint file.
Okay.
That we're printing out or
Right.
giving them.
They'll have it
and
in their book.
Posting publicly.
Yes,
And it's, by saying additional items, I think we're making it clear, like, this is stuff we're not going to talk about during the meeting,
Okay.
but there's just like
Okay.
information in there.
and then we'll flip through them, and then we'll go on to our other discussion. All right.
No. So we won't flip through them because they're after.
We'll go here, and then at the end of the meeting, or they'll just be in the file, so I
Yeah.
finally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The file that's available to everyone will have those, and that'll all be, and it'll be in their packet, and all the information will be there. Okay,
Yeah,
got
and
it.
we're just going to end on
That slide,
this.
okay, got it.
I think kind of a minor thing too, that discussion items, so we've got that as like, that's like a section header,
Right.
but then the two discussion items are also section headers.
Right,
So they could just be like one regular slide that just has two bullets on it, and the first one is the communication between council and commission.
well, and if we're not listing out discussion items, it can just be communication between council and commission.
Yeah,
We don't even need the discussion item slide, do we?
well, it's,
I mean, so you just go from the CIP slide to this slide? Or I could have one that says, just like the header be discussion items and then the bullets be these two things.
right, well, we do want to, so because we, like,
Because
there are
it's
these
CIP, okay.
sections,
Yep.
like, we want to make
Right.
it clear, we're done with CIP, and now it's time for discussion,
Right.
and, yeah.
And that is the discussion item, so
We
yes.
haven't had one discussion item.
Okay, so
All
what
right.
sorry, what's the consensus there?
I can go either way. I think it's, we'll pop up discussion items, then we'll move right on to communication between council and commission.
Yeah, I would recommend just changing from this to be like, instead of a section header kind of slide, to just make it
A bullet.
more of a regular slide.
Okay, and have it be both, have it say this and other items?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I can do that.
Thank you for all the hard work on this.
Yeah, thanks,
No
Allison.
problem.
Looks really good.
My pleasure. And then I will be, I'll update this tomorrow morning and send it out to you guys, because we have to have it to them like early Monday.
Okay,
Okay.
So if you guys can
last look.
check your email
Okay,
tomorrow, and perfect. Okay.
all right. Well, that was our discussion item for the day. And then Ojai Day Commissioner Table.
Oh, that's me too. Ojai Day is coming up.
I know,
Fun fact.
quickly.
Yeah. So it's coming up October 19th. So you guys are signed up to have a table. You will be placed in the Libby Fountain area. I believe Complete Streets will also be having a booth, so I'm hoping to put you guys kind of next to each other in the same space. So really, I'm just looking for feedback from you guys. Hopefully, commitment. I can send out an email tomorrow. Hopefully, we have people that are willing to work. I think we can do half shifts, like split shifts, like we do at the open house, for you guys to be out there talking to the public and showing them what you guys do. We obviously have the big blow up of the Sarasota master plan that I can have out there for you guys. And then if we want pickleball information, pickleball is going to be doing their own thing over on the tennis courts, but maybe you guys could have a little bit of information and then
Send
send
them
people
over,
that
yes. direction.
But do you guys have any other thoughts? Do you want to do some kind of survey? What are any thoughts or recommendations?
We got some responses at open house, but not much, but,
It is a much bigger event.
yeah.
So,
I think whatever we do, we need to do in paper, because it wasn't working that well to do it digitally.
right.
So with that, unless we can figure that out ahead of
I
time.
mean, we could use the same survey that we did.
That was what I was
I
suggest.
think it was really simple.
It's very simple. It was, do you participate? What do you participate in? What would you be interested in seeing additional programs, and capturing people's emails if they want to get on our list. It was
Right.
Pretty straightforward.
I mean,
think
I
that'd be
could
a
just
good
print
idea.
those up so you have them, and if,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea. The pickleball stuff, I think it's great, and I think sending them down there is a really good idea.
Perfect.
down to the courts.
Okay.
Master plan,
For the pickleball, could it include, maybe Tim could provide some information on when they're currently meeting, stuff like that?
I can do an update on
Okay.
that.
you mean for Ojai Day though?
Yeah, so
At
within the
Ojai Day.
flyer, maybe they don't go to the demonstration, but they are interested in
Finding out where to
the
play right
group
now.
or how to
Mhm.
contact the group.
That's a good
Okay.
idea.
Perfect.
And then, of course, we'll have brochures.
Okay.
Yeah?
You think we would get any
Swag.
feedback,
I know.
suggestion box?
That's a good idea.
Could do that.
Rather than have to remember everything.
Well, or that can be the survey, because the survey has open-ended space to tell us what you think and what you want.
Yeah.
But you could do both if you wanted, I mean.
Yeah, yeah, because the survey does have you, like, what would you like to see type, questions.
I wouldn't wanna stand there and take a survey, or on Ojai Day when there's so much other things to do.
Right.
That's just me though.
So you just want a piece of paper that says like suggestion at the top and you just write something on it and put it in a box?
Yeah, kind of a drive-by
Okay.
thing,
Yeah, you could do that, and at the bottom of the suggestion slip, it could say, like, include your email if you want to be on the mailing.
The mailing list, so 2 ways to pick people up.
Well, I think instead of the survey,
The only thing about the survey is some people, once they start doing it, they want to talk to you about things.
yeah.
So it's fine either way. I'm good either way, that we don't have to complicate it. But do we have any swag or freebies or anything that we,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know we definitely have pens. We might have the, like, flying discs.
oh, those are
So I
great.
will check on
Okay.
that for you guys. It's always a good way to get people to come to your table.
Basketballs.
Yes.
And we'll be doing balloons at the other booth, so it,
Okay, and you guys are in the park or are you at the very end again?
we're gonna be at the very end.
Okay, all right.
And where did you say the commissioner?
You guys are gonna be in the fountain area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a nice high traffic spot over there. Okay, so pickleball master plan. I'll go ahead and, since we have the surveys, I'll just print some up. So when Sage is there, she can use those. And when you guys are there,
We
you
don't
can use
have
the
to either way.
suggestion box.
Yeah, we'll see what we do. We can
Whatever,
do all.
whatever works,
Yes.
it'll all be there for
It's
you
fine.
guys.
And then,
And then giveaways and a flyer. I'll see if we can get a flyer from Tim.
and do any of the flyers that you have, the one pages that are out for other things,
Yeah.
we'll put
For,
those out.
for other
Yeah,
just
like
activities.
movie night and different things that you have already
Yeah.
produced
Yeah,
materials
absolutely.
for, whatever we can, hand out and show people and showcase programs.
Absolutely.
And
Cool.
some weights.
Yes, weights, yes, well, we could find some rocks.
Yeah.
I usually do,
Some
we have those
rocks.
plastic things that like stand, the plastic stands that you put flyers in, and then I paper clip them. It usually works pretty well in the wind.
Okay.
but-
The other thing is always the foam core master plan.
Yeah, it always blows over.
I will
We
make
have
sure
yet
you
to
guys
solve
have
that.
tape in your box to tape it to the stand.
It'll be a lovely day, there'll be no wind, it'll be
Yeah.
just perfect.
Yeah, we got all the wind out of the way last Ojai Day.
Yes.
It
Get that
was,
thing engraved
there's-
on a big rock.
I know.
that could work. Okay.
Okay, so that sounds good, and then it's just down to signups.
Yeah, I believe for the vendors that Amber has close to 200 so far, so
Yeah, she said that
she's doing good.
yeah, they're already at capacity for Ojai Avenue Primary.
Nice.
And she said they'll probably hit capacity for a couple others though, and she said there's a lot coming in.
And I saw that you sent an email out looking for volunteers.
I did, yes. I don't know why I didn't think to do that last year, but yes, we are looking for volunteers, which obviously you guys will all be working the table. But if you know anybody that's interested,
Kids who need service hours.
absolutely. Friday night is a great time for youth to help out. We're starting at 4:30. We're in the park, and it's moving tables and chairs. And like you said, you can get service hours. We serve pizza.
It's fun.
Yeah, Ojai Pizza donates, which is fantastic. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. But yeah, we need volunteers both Friday and Saturday,
Okay.
morning shift and afternoon shift. So,
Good. And they just can email or call you.
yep, absolutely. Info's on Facebook, website. I think actually Ojai Valley News responded to the email that I sent
Okay.
out saying, send me a photo, we'll put it on our Facebook. So,
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. yep, so the information's out there.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good day. Our gymnastics program is going to be back at Ojai Day. They've been competing the weekend of Ojai Day for years. But before that, they used to always have a booth, and they would do hair braiding as a fundraiser. So they're going to be back doing that, which I think will be really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of our programs also may be doing demonstrations on the stage, one of the stages. So maybe gymnastics and
Kung Fu.
kung fu and.
And that's down toward the end where you guys will be.
I think they're going to be on the children's stage,
Or
probably.
the children's stage. Okay, nice, very nice. Well, all
Yep.
sounds good. Thank you.
We kind of transitioned into staff report updates.
Yes. Recreation staff report updates.
This week was State of California declared an emissions-free week. And so there were a lot of different community service organizations and the city itself that combined with efforts. So City Hall, was it yesterday? They had electric vehicles that people could wander over to and sit in and hear about all about them. And then a lot of equipment for landscape, and different vendors were out there for the public to enjoy and walk around. That was at Libby Park. And then Sarzati, at the Boyd Center, we had a ride to bike day, and we had two $25 gift certificates for rec programs and one $75. It was really a gift certificate for a free tune-up through Ojai Bicycle Company. So that was nice. And
Very
yeah,
nice.
so that was an event that we did this month. And then movie night, we had close to 50
Wow.
this
Yeah,
time.
great turnout.
So it was a great turnout. And programs are continuing, through fall that are advertised, and the haunt, that just keeps growing. So I added a 9:30 program, and so we're gonna have back to back now.
Nice.
So they're just both filling up, and skateboard is also full with a wait list. He's trying to get another instructor,
Oh, good.
and so that's a lot. I think you're taking registrations for the basketball
Yep.
league.
And looking for coaches, as always.
Yeah, and around Sarzati Park, we have all the fields with basically a lot of soccer groups. They're even using the front of the park area, so it's nice.
Busy.
Yep. Lots of soccer this time of year.
Yeah. And that concludes with programs and events. Ojai Day, we already discussed and kind of added other information already in there, except this is where I want to add about pickleball.
Great.
So I can give you pickleball updates. We met this morning with a crew of Public Works and an inspector and a lot of representatives from the city, including IT. And so the report is that we're moving forward with it. The arborist is consulting with Public Works to trim the oaks, and the conduits for the lights. They found out that they're not hard to add later, so they will not be in this first phase. We're going to have a lot of paving and painting, water coat, 2 coats of slurry, and then sand with color coat, dark green, like similar to Libby Court. There's a fourth color. They have service boxes in where they call it a kitchen, and so that will be a light blue, and then we're using stripes, and again, water-based paint for all of them. Tim and Jeff, who are on the ad hoc committee, they'll be leading the project. They're also leading getting volunteers, and the volunteer forms have already been turned into, for waivers, have been already turned into Public Works, and they're getting quotes for the materials to equal $15,000. And basically, so the $15,000 will cover the slurry, the paint materials, everything that the budget, and it looks like we're right on with those,
Estimates, yeah.
with the items. But
Good.
yeah, we'll know better. We'll know further when Tim is able to give us more bids. And then just to let you know, posts and all the nets, they're all going to be sleeved so that we can move them. There's going to be perimeter fences across the middle and on the south side. So yes, it is running north and south. And actually, the contractors are already scheduled to pave on December 3rd. It's going to take like 30 days to let cure. Of course, it's weather dependent. And then temporary lines are an option because that's the last thing we would be doing on the courts. And if it's a rainy season and we can't wait another 5 weeks for the paint, then we maybe do like temporary lines depending again on the rain,
Right.
Through till the beginning of summer. And then just in case you were interested, the gazebo that's over there, they're also going to put a new roof on there.
Oh, nice.
It's on for next year though. That's not on this fiscal year. So basically that leaves, so Tim and Jeff are doing all the contracted stuff, and that leaves Sage, myself, and Tim to work on the fundraising. So basically we need 5,000 is a pretty good target all we have to do is pay for the nets and the posts.
Okay.
And it was suggested maybe we go for one net and post, one at a time so that we can show them what we're doing and then go after the other. But then we kind of had a plan, something else to do fundraising and go for it all at once. And so again, that will be something that Sage and Tim and myself that we can get on, work on really soon. So
Great.
I'll send an email and start the first meeting.
Exciting. Okay, great. Thank you for the update. Okay, so any other staff? You're good?
Good.
Okay. So on to item 10, Commissioner Committee reports and comments. I don't have anything. Commissioner Jacobson, do you have anything?
No.
Okay.
No new updates.
All right. So then we are on to council report, our council liaison report, and I don't think that's happening tonight. And future meeting dates and agenda items, just to make sure we add the minutes back, but I'm sure that'll happen from 9/5 so that we can get those.
We've gone longer without approving.
Yes, we have. We're quite up to date at the moment, yes. Any other future agenda items? Oh, you had mentioned
Yeah,
bringing
going o-
back
Going over Renee's, the manager objectives.
manager objectives, so let's agendize that for next time for a discussion item.
Right, I already added that.
Anything else? All right, so I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 6:34.
About 10 minutes off the record.